Greetings, sacred beings. Welcome to Sacred Her Story podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Natasia. And today, for our Sacred Her Story guest speaker, we have an amazing woman, Samantha Montoya Wilson. She is an Usui lineage Reiki Master and self proclaimed Renaissance woman. Also, considers herself a proprietress. Welcome to the show, Samantha.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I've been really looking forward to this conversation. And yeah, I'm coming to you from my retreat property, my Humboldt abode in Northern California, of which I am the proprietress.
Woo woo. And you guys, her background is not fake.
No, this is a real background with glass and redwood trees. It is not AI. It's
Oh,
real.
it's beautiful. So beautiful. I'm over here looking at it from over here in Big Bear. Those trees look amazing. I go, whoa, what are those? That was like the first thing I noticed when you came
Uh-huh.
in was the background. So,
Blessed am I. Blessed am I.
and it's lovely. You're so blessed to be right there in the midst of all that. So tell us more about the proprietress. When did this come about?
So, um, I was looking for a office in town to do massage and Reiki, and to also have like a place to land in the township of Southern Humboldt. And so I didn't really expect to find something so amazing like this, but I was looking also at houses because I love houses. That's my happy place. And my husband, I mean, he should be a contractor, but he's a very skilled carpenter, was asked to come and view the property to just do like a couple repairs. And he was like, "Hey, Sam, I know you're out looking at office spaces, but if you want to come with me, I have to go and pick up a check from this guy. And, it's right by Redway Beach." And I was like, "Ooh, Redway Beach. I love Redway Beach. It's like the swimming hole." So I show
Mm.
up and he shows me the property, and I was like, wow, I would love to have my office here. And there's all these cabins. Like, how would you feel about it being a vacation rental business? And I could do massage for our guests. And he said, yes, and yes. And I said, yes, yes.
Oh my gosh, how divine is that?
Yeah, because what I've discovered is I work better as a surrender practitioner when I just kind of surrender to the flow. I'm really hard at being pushy. It actually pushes people away, is what I've noticed. So if
Mm.
I'm just in service to others and just surrendering to the flow, then such amazing things have come my way because I'm not trying so hard. It's been great. I've been here for about 3 years.
That sounds amazing. Can you share more about this surrender practitioner? Because, I hear it and I remember another side of myself. And I think there's still a part of myself still, in this healing process. But the word surrender is like giving up power. Can can you explain how you define surrender?
Thank you for posing the question. I define surrender as a state of being. It's an active state of being because for me, I have to choose to surrender. I have to choose to give up control. And so by doing that, I would say I would define surrender as putting myself in the vibration of wanting to be a vessel, a catalyst, a,
Mm.
a conduit for energy, beneficial energy, to come to me and through me so that I can create what the universe wishes to express through me.
Mm.
A lot
Yeah.
like how Reverend Michael Beckwith talks about it, a lot how a lot of the people that I study, their modalities talk about it. And so it really just resonates with me because I don't know what the future holds, but if I have a vibration of being in service to others, then it gives me an everyday sense of purpose. So I like it.
That sounds so beautiful. And I got chills. I got a bit of chills when you said that, how it's like a vessel, a catalyst, a conduit.
Mhm.
And the fact of this vibration of service, I love that, how you defined it like that, because surrender, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm defeated or something. But no, the service is what we all should be doing for one another, is that act of service, of kindness, of helping one another, which seems to be kind of foreign, these days, you
Yeah.
know.
When I, sorry to cut you off, but when I had shared this with my friend Keith, he's Keith Mitchell. He's the author of the Mindfulness Mastery Playbook. He used to play for the NFL. He's a
Mm,
great person. I would highly recommend his book. But when I described this practice to him, he's like, Sam, that sounds like you are magnetic. And I'm like, I can't claim that I'm magnetic. It's much easier to just say I'm in surrender to the flow because I don't want to attach too much ego to it because that also gets in the way. And
mm.
so I feel like the more that I can practice on just kind of laying flat and flattening my intention, the smaller that I can become, the bigger the impact I can have.
Mm. That sounds so amazing. So
Yeah.
amazing. And peaceful. There's a peace and calm with it as
Mhm.
well.
It really takes the pressure off.
So, were you always like this?
Kinda. I mean, I feel like a grown-up second grader sometimes because I'm a little gullible. But yeah, I think I've always been, you know, the type of person, the middle child, the peacemaker, the first person to say sorry, an empath,
Mm,
um, the person to maybe not get a joke if it's meant to be mean or personal.
I can relate to that.
Kind of over my head, like, oh, that was a diss. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and just keep it moving.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious, since I mean, you've always, since you've always been like this, which is so beautiful because it's like this forever child. It's like we get older, we want to go backwards with our
Right.
age, and this is like, here your friend Heath was like, oh, you're magnetic, but you still keep this very humble, you know, like get the ego out of the way from it. But if somebody wants to practice this surrendership,
Mm.
what would you say would be the first steps, or how can you start so that that a person can move into this and be more of a surrender practitioner?
So, what I'm called to say to that question is I would teach that person how to observe themselves, how to take themselves energetically out of their body, up above them, to look down and try to go as far as they could through the troposphere, through the stratosphere, through the upper atmosphere, up, through the, Van Allen radiation belts and all the way at the edge and see how small they are.
Mm,
And that they're surrendering to the universe. And the universe is really big. And
Yeah,
so, it's like, if it's you against the universe, it's kind of obvious how that's going
he's
to
gonna
play out.
win. Yeah. As you were saying, expressing and the sharing that visual of going up, I can literally see myself like shrinking, and I'm all, ooh, what a big world.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
big world.
And yet it's so small, like how connected we are.
Hmm. Very
Mm.
much connected.
Ah, this is, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. You know, with the whole surrendering, I feel like, many of us would love to have that child mentality. So thinking of us as this little being to a whole is
Hmm.
pretty amazing too, in ways to put it.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I feel like a grown up second grader in some ways. You
You're
know?
you're like a fairy in the redwoods frolicking around and dancing and singing. I love
Yeah,
it.
my brother makes fun of me a lot, and he's always really good at like pulling one on me because I'm so like you could just tell me something and be like, "Oh wow, really?"
That's wonderful. So tell me about this Renaissance woman. So I know you do massage, you're a
Yeah.
proprietress, you're
Mhm.
a Usui Reiki Master.
Mhm.
So do you use that in your massage as well?
Oh yeah, actually, like I can't turn it off in some ways because Reiki is what I studied first before I studied massage. I used to do massage. I was the only girl on the boys' water polo team growing up. It's kind of a tomboy. And so my, introduction to massage was as an athlete, and I would self massage. Or when, the swim team or the water polo team, when we were taking bus rides together, you know, some of the girls would be braiding each other's hair and getting ready for the meet, and I would be massaging my teammates. And so I did have, kind of that interest early on, but I didn't study it first. I studied Reiki first
Mhm.
because I was so interested in learning about energy and about the things that I had already perceived
Mhm.
as being just intuitive. And yes, I do. I did eventually study massage, um, but yeah, Reiki I think is really something that I feel I carry strongly because of how long I've been doing it. I've been doing it since I was 19. I'm nearly 50. And so I've been doing it for some time, and it's something I really enjoy. But it's not the only thing that I do. So back to the Renaissance thing, I
Yeah.
can't even begin to tell you all the things that I do.
This is all about you. Please tell, please share and the journey to learning all this. This is your sacred journey, and I kind of I'm curious as to what other modalities you have because I mean, well, you have the modality of Reiki and massage, so and proprietress.
Yeah. So as far as like daily activities and revenue streams and that sort of stuff,
Mhm,
I have my massage business, of
mhm,
which I can offer, massage, Reiki, um, trigger point massage, acupressure. I studied at the Acupressure Institute in Berkeley and at the Heartwood Institute here in Humboldt County. But the business side of me is I run a vacation rental business, including cabins on this property and sister properties. In addition to that, I have just launched a startup business um, that is in development. And so those are all of my, business side leanings.
Hmm.
But I'm also, a jazz singer, an artist, um, an amateur astrologer, a winemaker. Um, you know, there's a lot that I've done, especially in Humboldt County throughout the years. I don't watch television, so I find things that I enjoy and do that during the days and evenings. And so it really helps to build different ways to express your skill set.
Hmm.
And, in the Renaissance, it was not uncommon to be an artist, lawyer, doctor, astronomer.
Right. That's what a Renaissance person is. There's a multitude of talent, right? That a person
Yeah,
needs to have.
yeah. And so I've done that, but perhaps without the formal training approach,
Mm.
minus, massage school and some college.
Wow. This is,
That's how I would say it. But I'm always interested, I have a growth mindset. So I'm always interested in learning new skills
mhm.
and also building my skill set and doing things that are difficult because I want to be well rounded.
That's beautiful. I love it. Jazz singer.
Yeah, that's how my
Artist.
husband met me. He's like, "Oh, who are you?"
Wow. That's beautiful. He's like, oh, you can serenade to me any day.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm an actress and a performer.
Okay.
I was also an MC of a performance troupe, so I'm very comfortable on stage. Actually, really like it. I'm more comfortable talking to people one on one or in a huge crowd, being the center of attention. I'm not very good at small talk. I kind of go straight into like what the cool stuff is, and for me, that's mysticism, uh, secrets of the universe, and houses.
Let's dive into it. Let's talk
Yeah,
about those things.
yeah.
Share
Let's,
away. I love these conversations too because, I think you also said it, there's so much out there. How could we possibly know it all? You know?
totally.
Yeah. So share away. What's your finding along mysticism and the occult and all that goodness? The secret.
Right?
Yeah.
Secret. So I've always been very interested in angels, miracles, the lives of the saints,
Mm,
um, by location, that a lot of saints, like Saint Padre Pio, was said to have. I've always been interested in telepathy
hmm.
and psychic activity, but through the lens of being brought up Catholic, you know, I remember having books on astrology and having my grandmother take them from me.
Mm,
And it and so now I realize that she was doing that out of protection, but it's hard to not see the influences of these heavenly bodies. So I think what and then the other aspect that I'm very interested in is human potential, that we are incredibly amazing creatures. And when you look at some of these saints and sages and mystics, a lot of them say the same thing, that they got the information through meditation. They got their ideas through a practice or a yoga practice or a breath work. like even Dr. Usui, who came, the Reiki symbols came through, it was after a 21-day meditation where he then saw the Reiki symbols. And so I've always really been interested in like the mysteries of life. And as a Catholic growing up, the mysteries of the faith, apparitions,
Yes.
angels, Eucharistic miracles, miracles of healing, people going on pilgrimages and there being a stack of canes and walkers at the front, So I also feel that there's something to be said for human potential and the placebo effect, of course. Um, but I definitely think that there are parts of our own human mind and anatomy that we have no idea the power that's there.
I totally agree. What has been your experience with angels and the unseen seen world?
Well, I feel like the house that I grew up in definitely had spirits. It was on the edge of what used to be a border between two ranches in Los Angeles, and there was a very there was a canyon cliff across the street from our house, and so I definitely felt like there were, entities or vibrations that maybe were dwelling in that area at the end edge of the ranch
Mhm.
that started to congregate in our house. And like, my grandma fainted the first time she came over to visit because she saw a spirit and immediately asked for the Monsignor to come and bless the house. And so I kind of felt like I grew up in a home that was a bit enchanted. And because of that, I took it as normal. And so everywhere that I've gone in my life from the time of being very small, I can almost tell before crossing the threshold if there's, you know, spirits there.
Yeah. Uh,
So
having
much so that some houses I won't even get near because there's a certain smell
really.
of bad
Mm.
spirits that
Yeah.
would want to bring harm to you. It's a horrible smell. At least I can smell it.
Hmm.
And
There's
so
a
I definitely feel like since I grew up and I felt like it was just normal, that it really helped to enhance my own abilities just innately to perceive the unseen. And yeah, I've definitely had experiences that can't be explained, and lots of experiences, in fact. But I don't know if we have enough time to go into all of the many things.
well, probably share one of them or a couple, you know, what
Yeah.
did it feel like? Were you scared? Whatever information you want to share. And that's so interesting. You got that what is it? Clarifaction. I believe it's called, like you could smell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm. That's a
clarifaction or
horrible
something.
smell. I used to smell it a lot. I grew up in Pasadena,
Mm,
and there was this part of Pasadena, um, which we would walk, my friends and I, outside of Old Town Pasadena near a bridge where a lot of people during the stock market crash in the late 20s
mm.
chose to re enter the spirit world from that bridge where they would jump.
Oh, wow.
And so anytime that we would go over by the bridge, there were a couple houses that were gorgeous houses, but the energy was so creepy and I could smell it. And
So
so I was like, okay, you guys, like, I think we've hung out by the bridge long enough. Can we go back to the coffee shop? This is kind of creepy. when I was, 15. But more recently, few winters ago, myself and my husband and our son, who's now 15, so he was about 12, uh, we don't get very much snow here, unlike where you are. And so when it snows, it's like a good thing. It's fun. It's like, oh, it's stuck. And so we had enough snow where they wanted to go and sled and play in the snow. And so we did that. And it was, a good base so that my husband could, go up the slope above us and get on his um, get on his board and kind of scoot down, or I could, tow him down. Anyhow, it got to be later and later, and I was like, I think we should probably head back to the house. This is our ranch property because, we're losing light, and I want to go home and make dinner. So we got in the truck and we came to the bridge and to the river crossing, and we, got closer to our house, and then we saw that the last part of the driveway, in order for us to be able to go up the driveway, a bunch of trees had fallen because the weight of the snow. Like when we left the house, they were fine. We left the house. We went to go have fun. They were not fine. So on our return back, we thought ahead, of course, and had chainsaws with us in case this happened.
Hmm.
So my husband got out, in his full snow gear with the chainsaws. And, he's done this a zillion times, total Humboldt Hill kid, like could do it blindfolded. And so he like goes and runs the chainsaw, and I'm sitting in the truck with our son Henry, and I say to him, let's say a prayer for let's say a prayer for your dad. Like I feel I have some anxiety about him being out there. There's these giant trees, like I said, let's say the prayer to Saint Michael, the Archangel. Because I, that's the prayer that I go to for protection. So we sat and we watched him and we prayed to Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection. Against the wickedness and snares of the devil, may God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. And when we said that, out in the distance, my son and I saw a blue light come down from the heavens and stand behind my husband. On the other side of him, a white light came down from the heavens and stood on the other side of him. And I turned to my son Henry and I said, "Are you seeing this?" He's like, "Yes, Mom. What are those lights?" Like, I don't know. They look like, I don't know. They're just like these orbs. And so he finished his cut, and the trees fell, and then the white one went swoop, and the blue one went swoop. And I thought, oh my God, did we just invoke Archangel Michael? Like I still don't, I still don't know. I shared the story with a handful of people, and some of them like, oh yeah, they were angels. Some of that were like, oh, that was, you imagined it. I'm like, but my son saw it. So, even though it happened, I still question it. Even though it happened and I had a witness, I still don't know what that was. But I know that we successfully got home, and it's one of my favorite prayers, so why not say it?
Right. Yeah. That's beautiful. And now all of us who watch this gets to hear your story and wonder what were those lights that you're seeing.
Yeah.
And I would say yes, they were angels, they were protectors. They answered your prayer for you both to witness. And it's incredible.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the universe or God or goddess, however you want to describe it, the sacred,
Mhm.
element wants to keep us guessing, wants us to, to strengthen our faith, but I think also kind of wants us to remain curious and to second guess ourselves just a little bit so that something like that can happen again. Because if you're firm in your faith and you're like, oh, I've seen it, I believe it, maybe you won't see that anymore. But if you question it, then maybe something like that will happen again. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love your joy.
Thank you.
Joy is what I feel. Yeah. You know, it's that unknown, right? But I feel like you can just feel what it is, whether
Mm-hmm.
you see it, hear it, smell it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I feel there's just this inner knowing. But then again, that's a whole nother gift too. The body, no, clairvoyant,
Mm-hmm.
clear knowing, or clairsentient, I believe. All these clairs.
Yeah, that's funny that you say all that because those are all in my angel card deck. I brought them here so they could be a part of the conversation.
Would you like to pick a card for us? Something
Sure,
to help for
yeah.
all of us? That would be
I would
incredible.
love to. I would love to,
Yes.
like this is as close to tarot cards as I come because I did delve a little deeply into the shadow aspects, and what I found were the shadow aspects. So I
Right.
don't really delve into, you know, the occult in that way
Hmm.
anymore. I questioned my faith for a long time. I studied many different faiths and many different types of you know, religions and occult knowledge. And I had some experiences that made me apprehensive. And so now I only focus on, angels and miracles and beneficial beings. I don't need to know about
The shadow.
the absence of light. I'll figure that out once I leave my body.
But still, there's that light there.
Like there's time for that. I can explore that in the void.
In the
While
void.
I'm while I'm here in this body, I think I'll just focus on either neutrality or positivity. Negativity I know is going to be there regardless. And there's plenty of it in the world, so I don't need to focus on it. There's
That,
plenty.
that's a great way to think of it, you
You
know.
know,
Yeah.
it's not going anywhere. I don't need to entertain negativity.
Yeah. And you
And
can just
so,
be
yeah,
present right there, right?
I think that also kind of helps to keep me in a childlike curiosity and in awe of the universe. Okay, so I cut the deck and let's see what the card is. Ah, brilliant idea.
Ooh,
Ooh, brilliant idea. So, is it a brilliant idea to just focus on what you want, not what you don't want? Probably.
right, right. I was I came across this feed on I don't know, Instagram or maybe Threads or something. The lady mentioned how, you know, we focus on manifesting what we want versus manifesting on who we have to become. And
Mm,
we should be focused on who we need to become to attain those things.
great.
Would you agree?
Yes and no. I
Educate
mean, so
this.
this is a good pivot point to talk about the meditation that I do that I think I talked to when we did our check-in about the Reiki wormhole. So yes, I think it's extremely important to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. By focusing on what you want, you put yourself in vibrational alignment with the things that you want and get more of them or closer to them, or become a vibrational match for those things to um, come into your life. And so, with that, I took it to my Reiki practice. Do you want to hear about the Reiki wormhole meditation?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Let's go. All right. So, a lot of people who study Reiki, this first level is for self healing and for healing people in the room, hands on healing.
Mm,
The second level of Reiki is sending Reiki to anywhere in time and space, distance Reiki.
mhm,
The third level of Reiki is studying Reiki to become a teacher in order to pass the attunements and continue the lineage to new students and practitioners.
mhm.
So I studied all three because I want there to be more Reiki practitioners in the world. And I have attuned, quite a few. And so with distance Reiki, with the second level of Reiki, myself and a lot of my students, a lot of people focus on the past. A lot of people send Reiki to their past to repair the timeline, to send Reiki to times of um, turmoil and deep depression and anxiety and pain and trauma, and that's extremely beneficial. I sent I've sent Reiki to my mother as she was birthing me. I've sent Reiki to times when I was very young and people were being extremely mean and rude and hurtful. I've sent Reiki to you know myself when I was in labor with my children. And so most people can visualize sending Reiki back in time. What I've been doing as of late is sending Reiki to my future self
Mm,
and asking my future self to send Reiki back to me here and now as a way to guide me to that person so that I become my own beacon. And even further, oh, here comes my son. You'll see that it's not a AI background. There's my son, Henry. Hi, he's walking home from school.
Nice. Oh my gosh, how amazing is that?
He was walking home. So the other part of that is I went deeper with sending Reiki to the future. And I've sent, hi, sweetie. I'm doing a podcast. I send Reiki to my future self, but I send Reiki to my future self that is purely light. My
Mm,
future self, my future light body, as it is approaching a black hole.
interesting. Share more. I'm
And
like,
so I send Reiki to my future light body as it is approaching the event horizon of a black hole. And right before it's going to lose, because light loses all of the information and all the data that it collected as soon as it goes through a black hole. So, right before it loses any memory of me, I ask it to send it back to me
mm,
to make me as magnetic as a black hole. And I call it the Reiki wormhole meditation because they say that in black holes, there's supposedly, wormholes to different bends in space time and like time travel and that kind of fun stuff.
mm,
And for me, It's a mental exercise more than anything, of course, that helps me to relieve anxiety. Because if it's little old me against a black hole, I might as well just give up. I might as well just surrender and dive right in because that's what's going to happen anyway. So it helps me when I'm having moments of anxiety to do the Reiki wormhole meditation to shed that anxiety because it's like, yes, one day I'm going to die, and one day my light body is going to enter a black hole. It's inevitable. So we might as well just get that out of our consciousness now because it's going to happen. Let's just stay present with the here and now. And so it helps to me to be more present. And it's just kind of fun. It feels like you're on an elevator.
There's that whole so you believe in this black hole that our light goes into. Is that, am I hearing that correct?
You'll have to help yourself because I'm doing a recording right now. I'm sorry. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, it's not a problem. I go, here's the thing, real women, real life, real responsibilities, right?
I know. Here's
Uh,
my kid. You want to talk about angels?
that's one
Um,
of them.
right? Yeah, that's the son who was there. So, but your question was about
Yeah,
black.
the black hole. Like, did you do any research, or was this through all the findings when you were studying the different religions and occult and stuff? I'm curious.
Okay, so here's the Renaissance part of me. I'm kind of a geek. And so I've
So,
always been interested in quantum physics.
mm,
And I very much love hearing Sarah Seeger from MIT. I very much love hearing Nassim Haramein and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Growing up in Pasadena, you're surrounded by an amazing community of scientists with JPL and Caltech. And so I've always been kind of a star nerd, so to speak.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm kind of, yeah. So, I've always been really interested in, what Einstein left everyone else to solve.
Mm,
And, the universal field, like what he was working on before he crossed over.
mhm.
And so, and he was very interested in black holes. Same with Stephen Hawking, very interested in black holes because light behaves very differently when it is approaching a black hole, and the space-time continuum changes dramatically at the speed of light approaching a black hole. And so, like, that's like the mysticism of science. And so I've always been really interested in it. Plus, it's kind of fun to think about. Um, and so I, just kind of thought that it would be helpful for me to create a meditation around it because I wouldn't mind traveling through space time, even if it's just a visualization. I know that in Tibetan Buddhism, there's different practices that they use with sacred objects in order to boost them lifetimes ahead so that they don't have to continue to reincarnate. So there's definitely a religious aspect.
Mm.
So I don't know if that answers your question. It's a bit of a circular conversation, but no, I'm a geek.
No, I love it. It does. And when you brought up that quantum physics, this is something that, I mean, I'm intrigued by it, but I haven't dived in to study or anything really on quantum physics. But I'm familiar with hearing the black hole, and the wormhole, and so it's just interesting to hear somebody talk about it, and I was more curious. I wanted to know more of your own findings and what does it mean? What does it look like? So, no, you answered it perfectly.
Yeah. I think one of the most visceral experiences I had was when I was studying Vajrasattva Tibetan Buddhism. I was up at a Buddhist retreat center outside of um Junction City. And they were doing a dripshen, which is like a sacred ritual, days and days and days and days.
Mm,
They had certain sacred objects that it was kind of like a prayer chain, and they were asking people to keep the prayer chain going with these sacred objects through the dripshen in order to charge them and to charge the teachers and all of the participants. And so not a lot of people wanted the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. shift. So I did it. And these purbas and um, these metal pieces that were charged for this purpose was namchak, which in Tibetan means sky metal. So they take asteroids, meteorites that would land in the Himalayas. They're pretty easy to find because everything else is white, kind of like in Antarctica. Um, what is it, the Allen fields, because the Van Allen radiation belts come into the South Pole. You can also find uh, a lot of space rocks down there. So they would find them pretty easily in the Himalayas, and then they would carve them into their sacred bell and purba and things like that, and then they would charge them with mantras and prayer, and then they would stay in different lineages of teachers and be passed down teacher to student, teacher to student, teacher to student. So one night at the the gompa where we were doing this ritual, I'm holding the purba, and all of a sudden I felt like I was being pulled into a black hole. I felt like, because as an energy worker and as a Reiki master, I feel energy. And so because I was holding a rock that had flown through space and landed in the Himalayas and had been charged with all these mantras for how many lineages, when I held it, I couldn't help but to feel the energy of the rock just going through space, and having its trajectory to the Himalayas, and then finally in my hand. And I'm like, hey, don't break the chain, your turn.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's a lot of science built into religion. In fact, I believe the Vatican has the most powerful observatories throughout the world.
I'm sure they do. They hold a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
They sure do. Samantha, you shared so many insights in which, for me, it's inspiring me to like kind of dive into other stuff. As we close this chapter, though, of this episode for Sacred Her Story, what is one piece of wisdom you wish your younger self had known?
Oh, one piece of wisdom that it was gonna that probably, gosh, that's hard because one piece of wisdom
Okay, you could have a few.
probably probably that it's okay to be who you are. And that was the advice my mom would always give me, my grandma would always give me, is just be yourself.
Mm,
And if I would have really embraced that more, I think I would have saved myself from a lot of heartbreak with friendships, and expecting a level of commitment from people who I drew close to me who were, just there for a moment. And so I probably would have comforted myself with it's okay to be who you are, and it's okay to spend a lot of time alone.
Mhm.
Your people are coming, and just be patient.
That's beautiful. So that was to your younger self.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is one truth or life lesson you feel called to share for those of us who are listening?
Oh, probably to realize your impact, for people to realize how much they matter, and also how much they influence the world around them and the people around them,
Mhm.
and most especially their mindset.
I love it. Sorry, my daughter came
I know
in.
you've got one too, right?
Have three.
Yeah,
Yes, dear.
yeah,
And you could tell them, hey, I'm in the middle of something, but they don't care. You know,
that's right.
they are just living on who they are as they are, right? But
Absolutely.
I love that. Like we matter, and how many of us don't really honor that? We learn it later in life too, that how much we truly matter, you know.
Yeah, and to also just so the motto that I give my children with this is to be your own best company.
Mm, I love that. Yes.
Because if you're good company for yourself, then other people are going to want your company, and you can choose whether or not you want company too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say be your own best friend.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, kind of that same vibe.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share for those of us who are listening?
I would say, especially right now with what's going on in the world, that we don't see the value that we have in our mindset. We don't see, we need to value the fact that having a peaceful existence is it's such a luxury. It is the most luxurious item that you can have is your safety and security,
Hmm.
and to not take it for granted. Luckily, neither you nor I live in a war zone,
Yeah, I'm
you
truly
know.
grateful.
And so I would say for people to focus on just how grateful they are and how luxurious it is to have a problem that can be solved.
Mm, yeah, thank you.
That it's a simple problem.
Mm, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, beautiful souls, if today's story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you that you're not walking this path alone, I invite you to follow and subscribe to the Sacred Her Story podcast. Also, Samantha's information will be in the description so you can check out her Humboldt abode, and check out the Redwood Forest there in the retreat where she also offers massages with her magic. So
Mhm.
thank you for being here. This is where real women share their raw and filtered becoming. And thank you, Samantha, again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation to share.
Mhm.
It's so nice to have this platform. Thank you for aligning your gifts to creating um, space for myself and others to share her story.
Thank you.
Appreciate
It's an honor.
it. Yeah, thank you so much.
And this is where sacred her is sacred, highly exalted rebel. And it's saying yes to ourselves and trusting in our own inner wisdom. Until next time, allow yourself to breathe, to receive, and just say yes to yourself.